Welcome to the Odds and Overs. I am your host, Hodo, and here we're going to walk you through week one of the NFL. Our top games this week, we have our Thursday night special, the Detroit Lions versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City is minus 4.5 here at home, but the real question is Travis Kelce starting? He has a game time decision. They have not made an official statement on whether or not he will be starting. This is going to be a high scoring game, folks. I would even ignore the over and the under with regard, the plus minus here. This is going to be completely over. Both teams are going to be offensive juggernauts in this thing. I think the over-under is 53.5. Double checking here the listing here. It is actually, yes, 53.5 is the over. I think it's an easy take on the over here. Avoid, I think, betting on each of these teams because I think they're just going to go back and forth, and it's going to be one of those games in which the last team with the ball is going to win. So, top stories, we have mentioned Travis Kelce. He is not sure whether or not he is going to start. They are going to make a game time decision. So if you are a fantasy player and you do have Travis Kelce on your team, like myself, I would probably just play safe, play his backup because he's probably going to get more snaps anyway. I don't think they're going to use him enough. It's the first game of the season. Let him rest. I don't expect to see him on the field. I think he's going to give it a go, maybe first two sets of offensive plays, but I don't think it's going to be more than that. Going forward and looking at the rest of the season, you got a couple questions there. In Denver, Sean Payton will take over as the head coach of the Denver Broncos. He will be starting with the Las Vegas Raiders. So can Sean Payton turn around? Can he make Russell Wilson a quarterback that he can be or was? Or are the rumors true? Is Russell Wilson done? We're going to see the Broncos are -3 at home to the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders in a bit of a flux. They are changing quarterbacks. They think they have a first-time starter as their quarterback, but they do have weapons, and they did look pretty decently active in the preseason, but with only -3 at home, I think this is more of a toss-up than anything. Broncos, they don't know how this team is going to react. I still think you take the Broncos at home here. They are -195 on the money line. If you're just not sure, this might be tight, but at only -3, I think you take the Broncos. And then the final question is the Monday night setup, the Monday night game between Buffalo and the New York Jets. Jets are dogs at home, +2.5. They will play Buffalo here, who is going to probably be a big monster here in the AFC East. But they have had the benefit of that the last couple of years. New England has been on the down, but now with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, he's turned that team around. You've seen them on Hard Knocks. Rodgers has basically taken this team by the scruff of the neck, but still, Buffalo is favored here, and they are playing away to the Jets in New Jersey, so this will be a Meadowlands game. Jets have a lot to prove, and I think so does Aaron Rodgers. I think he's trying to pull a Tom Brady here, making sure if he can just get, I think a winning season for him is getting either to the AFC Championship or even getting to the Super Bowl itself. The expectations are unbelievably here in New York, and if the Jets do win here in Buffalo, that will go a long way to making sure that people are very happy. Let's take a look at the schedule for this week. It is Detroit at Kansas City, -4.5. I told you, stay away from this bet. This is going to be a high-scoring bet, and it's going to be one of those things in which you're going to see both teams just scoring at will. Chris Jones is still out for Kansas City, holding out. They will not have the run stopper, so Kansas City will have a sort of a leg down on defense. -4.5 is still too small. Bet the over on this one, folks. I think that's your safe bet. Carolina, Atlanta at home, -3.5. Carolina unsure. They will be starting their rookie quarterback out of Alabama. Carolina, I think Adam Thielen is questionable. Atlanta at home, they expect big things from Bijan Robinson. He's looking like a good running back here, and they're probably going to pound that ball. They're going to run, and it'll be up to Carolina's run defense to see whether or not they can stop Atlanta. Ritter, going into his second year, does have some options at tight end, but I'm not sure. This is going to be an ugly game to watch, so my bet here, stay away from this game. It's just a little too up in the air. But if you are going to bet anything, I think you take Carolina plus 3.5, just because I'm just not sure about the defense here in Atlanta. Houston versus Baltimore. Baltimore, big home favorites at 9.5. Houston, with their rookie quarterback, is going to have a pretty rough season, but Baltimore going in with a new offensive coordinator. They're going to see whether or not he can unlock the weapon that is Lamar Jackson. They need to keep him upright because Baltimore has lost his services the last 2 years in a row, and you need to keep him in the game because without him, Baltimore's offense is a bit stagnant. Expect a lot of J.K. Dobbins. He's on my fantasy team. I expect to see him running the ball a lot, but they do have a new cadre of wide receivers and might be able to see a more active offense here in Baltimore. Cincinnati at Cleveland. Cleveland home dogs here by 2.5. I would think that would have been more, but Joe Burrow, unsure of a start, so I think he did hurt himself, but I think he's going to be good to go. Cleveland here, only 2.5-point dogs. It is the Battle of Ohio. They play each other tough, but I completely expect Kansas City here. They are only minus 135 on the money line, but I expect Kansas City to roll Cleveland no matter what Watson does as quarterback for Cleveland. He will be their starter. He will play the whole year, but I just don't think Cleveland has enough. Jacksonville and Indianapolis big home dogs at plus 5. Jacksonville coming off of a playoff run, especially beating the Chargers in the first round of the playoffs. They've got Calvin Ridley. He's their new weapon, and they expect big things in connection here with Sunshine, their quarterback. Jacksonville up, and it's going to be, I think, an easy win here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Unsure of what they're going to be doing with Jonathan Taylor, but he was their big weapon here in Indianapolis. Will he even play? I really doubt it. They didn't get to trade him before the deadline, so he's just going to be an upset Nelly there on the sidelines. Tennessee at New Orleans. New Orleans' new starting quarterback was the Raiders' starting quarterback. Got rid of him, paid him big money to come to New Orleans. Tennessee, even though I think New Orleans is just home favorites, Tennessee is going to play them very, very tough here. Expect a lot of the ball. Expect a lot of running here. Control offense. New Orleans, not the flashy team that you remember with Sean Payton. It's a whole new start. This is a toss-up in the air. I'm leaning to the visitors here. I'm not sure what New Orleans is going to do, but I think Tennessee just a little bit more active here than the New Orleans Saints. San Francisco versus Pittsburgh. This is a huge toss-up. Pittsburgh's first team offense in the preseason looked absolutely fantastic. San Francisco gets their main man on defense, Bosa, back. That's 18 sacks last year, paying him over $170 million, $122 million guaranteed. Pittsburgh, you rarely see them ever as home dogs to San Francisco. San Francisco got a lot of weapons. Brock Purdy will be their starter, but their starter from Pittsburgh, the man from Pitt itself, he's looking very, very good this season, and I think they're going to give San Francisco a good run for the money, but I still think away from home, San Francisco takes the win at Pittsburgh. Arizona and Washington. Washington, big-time home favorites here against Arizona. Arizona doesn't have a starting quarterback. They haven't mentioned who's starting, and I think they're just afraid to because the options are Colt McCoy or other, and I think it's going to be Colt McCoy. Washington, in the post-Dan Snyder era here, gets to start with their new quarterback in Sam Howell. He looked very good at the end of the year, starting against the Dallas Cowboys and crushing them. So big things here coming out of Washington. Jahan Dotson looking forward to taking over Terry McLaurin's spot as the number one. He looked very, very good in preseason, but their 1-2 duo of McLaurin and Dotson. Expect big things this year. This is going to be a weak, sneaky pick here, but I expect a lot of points and active points from Washington. Running backs Gibson and Robinson are going to be very active too. I think Washington just too much for Arizona. Go to the 4 o'clock games. We have Green Bay at Chicago. Here's the sophomore year of Chicago's quarterback. He's going to be running all over the place, and it is Green Bay. The post-Aaron Rodgers era does start. Love will be their starting quarterback. They still have the weapons from last year. Aaron Jones still active in Green Bay, but there's going to be more of a slog here. I don't know. The home -1 Chicago. This is a toss-up, folks. And if Justin Fields is able to do his thing, I think Chicago will take this one unless you expect a big game here from Jordan Love. Chicago -1. That's the one that you probably want to take. Philadelphia at New England. New England at home +4. Philadelphia remembers what New England did to them in the Super Bowl. This is a revenge game, and Philadelphia wants to head back to the Super Bowl. That starts here in New England. Philadelphia's monster. They have weapons on both sides of the ball. +4 is being kind, but remember, you get 3 points for being at home. So Philadelphia here, I think, is going to be your take. As New England, they're going to try to figure out whether or not they do have a defense, and that offense has always looked a little shady. And Bill Belichick not an offensive coach, so we'll see what happens there in New England. Las Vegas at Denver. I've told you my pick. I'm going with Denver -3. They're at home. I think Sean Payton's going to turn around and going to turn them into the team that they deserve to be, because they were awful last year, firing the coach in the middle of the year, who's now the OC over at New York, and he'll have a Monday night game against Buffalo. But I think Denver -3, that's a good pick. Las Vegas looking iffy with their quarterback. We had some discontent there in Las Vegas, but I think Denver is your take here at -3. Miami at the Chargers. Miami's looking good. They do have weapons, and they do run all over the place. Chargers with Justin Herbert, and that offense is going to be shootout. Chargers -3. That's the give, folks, but I think everyone here is going to call this one a toss-up. Chargers at home, hard against. Miami's got to go across the country, but I think this is going to be tough. I would probably pay the over-under here, folks, because I think this one's going to be a bit of a barn burner. And the over-under here is 51. I take the over here just to be safe. Just watch the fireworks go back and forth between the two teams. I think this will be a fun game to watch. Final 4 o'clock game is going to be the Rams at Seattle. Rams will not have their wide receiver Cooper Kupp. He is still injured. And the quarterback situation at the Rams, Matthew Stafford will start. But I think Seattle at home, -5.5. That's about right. The Rams are going to struggle a little bit. They did not look good in the preseason. They did not look good coming off of their last game. And Seattle here is just a continuation of Geno Smith finally gets paid. I think Seattle knows what they're going to be doing, and they want, and this is a big NFC West battle, they want that early win so they can get one up on the Rams here. -5.5 is good enough for me. Take Seattle here. And in the 8 o'clock game, you're looking at Dallas and the Giants, NFC East matchup. Dak Prescott, can he be the man in Dallas to take them to an NFC East championship? The Giants loaded up with more weapons, new tight end, couple receivers here, and it will be Daniel Jones for the Giants. He did get paid over the summer, so we'll see what the Giants can do. Giants are home dogs here, +3. I don't think Dallas will have any issues with the Giants here. They always look good early. It's the end of the season that you start worrying about the Cowboys. In this particular case, I think the Dallas Cowboys here will own the Giants and take that -3 for Dallas. I think that's your give. And on Monday night, you've got Buffalo and the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers is the new quarterback for the New York Jets. +2.5 home dogs here, as Buffalo will come on in. Buffalo, of course, the dominant team in the AFC East. They have the Jets. They have Buffalo. They really do have a schedule. They're going to have to play Miami and New England, but I think Buffalo here, still the class of the AFC East. The Jets are going to play really, really tough here with Aaron Rodgers at their quarterback. They do have the weapons. They've improved on defense, and I think this is going to be a much tighter game than you think. But you've got Naira put Josh Allen out on a pedestal there. He'll run you. He'll throw at you. He can do all of the things that a good modern quarterback can do. I take Buffalo here to ruin Aaron Rodgers' debut here with the New York Jets. Well, those are my picks. These numbers are from BETMGM as of 5 p.m. today. Get your bets in here. Only suggestion, I don't promise anything. These are just my opinions and my opinions only, but hopefully you have a good time there, a good time at the bets, and congratulations to all the teams here, as the NFL season will start today, Thursday, at 8 o'clock with Detroit and Kansas City. Good luck to everyone, and happy betting here from the overs and the unders.